for anybody really show up because, again, I do not have a set schedule. I kind of do this on the fly, if you will. But I thought I would come on for a minute. I just got off of a TikTok, and understandably, it being Sunday, Sundays are always slow on social media. So, but some people on there were losing their mind because people weren't showing up. I'm like, wait a minute. I just don't understand at times. But anyway, um, a lot of things going on in monkey world, as I coined the phrase. And, you know, and I've been trying to tell people for some time, I don't expect to see Kiyombuna back. You know, I know it is upsetting to a lot, and I get that. And I'm not saying it to be mean or hurtful in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Um, it's just kind of the writing's on the wall. I believe tomorrow will mark 3 weeks. Now count that, 3 weeks since there's been a premiere. We had no word, no nothing from Than, you know. I mean, his first name is actually David. So we haven't heard anything from him. I mean, and I don't ever expect to. Now, with that being said, I think that's a really big slap in the face to people that have watched Keo almost since day one. I watched her for well over a year. And again, you know, very much like when BB disappeared, okay? And it breaks my heart. People may have said they've accepted the fact that they're not going to see him again on here, but I think there's a few that are holding out hope still, you know, because it's too hard for them to face that he will not be back no matter what. You can make 1,000 comments in the comments section. It will not bring BB back. It will not bring Lala back, unfortunately, and it will not bring the rest of them back. And I do not say that with any pleasure. I want to be wrong. You have no idea how I want to be wrong. And, but unfortunately, and the owners of the channel don't even have enough consideration for people to come on and say that this was a family business, but we have made mistakes along the way, and so we will no longer be able to film. And just have them with you when you're making the video so people could say goodbye to them at least. But y'all did not even give the people that common courtesy. And I just, I'm not shocked at all. And I've had people inbox me constantly saying, do you know anything new about Q and Buna? I'm sorry. I am so, so, so sorry. But I don't. If I did, I would tell everybody. I would come on here and make a post and show proof. But unfortunately, like I said, I don't expect to see them. And there's very few Monkey Reach channels remaining that does a premiere. And I hate to say it, but they're on their way out too, I know the government also is really cracking down on illegal monkey. If you don't have the proper permits, if you are not up to date on this and that, they are cracking down. There's been too many animal rights activist groups to bring awareness. The local authorities have been flooded with calls, emails, you name it. And I'm glad something is finally being done. I just hope that the little ones are cared for and happy in their new home. And more than one person told me, well, when, if they were confiscated, which I believe they were, they may have leapt into the officer's arms if things were that bad at home. Because again, mind you, we only see a cute little video here and there. We do not see it when the cameras stop rolling, and that's the frightening part. We don't get to see that part. We only see what is meant to be shown to us. And we all know they're connected. Okay, the thing of it is this, the script. Okay, fine. If you need to have it scripted, I get that. But it seems like, and there's one channel still operating that still uses the script of drama. If they would just leave that alone and do a few other things, their channel might possibly be fine, but drama, like Little Monkey Sick, and somebody, more than one person, by the way, pointed out to me that monkeys do have higher temperatures. So we may see a video where we think it's a high temperature, but in all essence, it's a normal temperature for them. So, you know, and what is highly disturbing, think of all these monkeys that have fallen and have had injuries. And I know on the Kiyombuna channel, there is a video, or was, hi, hun, hi, Eva. There was a video where Buna was pushed into the hole in the backyard. Everybody who's seen that video, you know what I'm talking about. You know the video. And then Kyo was scrutinized for not watching Buna. She's not a babysitter. And that would always just anger, oh yeah, it angered me quite a bit when I saw that, because I'm like, wait a minute. But yeah, the script. And like I said, if one gets injured, hey everybody, welcome. They seem to all get injured. Or go missing. How many times have we seen over the monkey channels? How many times have the monkeys went missing with a cameraman nearby? That is not missing. That is not missing. That cameraman, I mean, to me, missing is when is when you're not found. It's when nobody knows where you're at. Not when you have a cameraman following you every step of the way. In that case, why didn't the cameraman just call the owner and say, hey, this little monkey is over here and they're doing this. And excuse me, but all the times, cue the dramatic music. Time after time after time, we have seen the over dramatized music over and over. And that just gets me to no end. But, again, I'm telling people, and I'm not saying this for any other reason than trying to prepare people for the day that there'd be no more monkey premieres on here, A lot of channels are going down. Don't take my word for it. Look them up for yourself, like I tell people. I know Kiyombuna, like I said, tomorrow it'll be 3 weeks since they've had a premiere. 3 weeks, not a few days. And it's not because of the weather. It's not, I mean, there hasn't been, I know, don't look for a premiere on there anytime. Now, I think I would be shocked and gobsmacked if I got a notification on my phone saying that there is a premiere. And again, I know somebody that sent a package to Kiyombuna to only have it returned because, they weren't around to accept it and they never went to the post office to retrieve it. I felt horribly for this I just felt so bad for them. And there was somebody else I know that was going to send a package. Hello, Arthur. That, thank goodness they didn't, because I told them, I said, look, you want to hold off on that. Hold off on that, because I'm not so sure they are still at that house. Maybe not, I don't know for sure yet. But If I find anything out, I'll let everybody know, but it's just sad. It's a sad situation. And I just, like, I'm trying to tell people, do not look for them to come back. No. If you've been watching Little Monkey and there hasn't been a premiere on there, you ain't gonna see it, you know. And the few channels that are still having premiere, which I'm only aware of one, I think, I, I I don't look for that to be around very much longer, you know. So please do not be shocked. Please prepare yourself. I'm saying this as kindly as I can. They're on their way out. You can keep watching and supporting. I don't tell anybody what to watch or who to support. I'm not your mom. I'm not your dad. You know, I mean, I'm a girl, so I can't be your dad, but you know what I mean. Um, please prepare yourselves, because just because you're watching and supporting, again, that's your right. That is none of my business. Never said it was. But at the same time, that is not going to keep that little monkey coming around, you know. That's not going to stop the authorities from taking action at all, you know. And I don't know why people don't have the proper permits, or their reasoning, or when they first applied, if they ever did, or if they just waited because now they know the authorities are cracking down over there. I don't have the answer to that. Unfortunately, if I did, you would too. But please, please, you know, find something else to occupy your time. I mean, there's a whole big world out there. I live in a little studio apartment, and I guarantee you, there is always something to do around. I, I don't have time to be bored. I, I hardly ever get bored because again, there's always something to do. So please do not make Monkey World your sole source for interacting with people or for anything like that. You know, I used to love the chats too, and talking with different people, and you know, catching up, and even when there was drama in there, and heaven knows there's always going to be drama, but I would have fun just seeing what everybody's doing. You know, what were they doing with their day? And there's nothing wrong with that, but please do not make that your sole source, you know. Now, if you're homebound, I'm not talking to you. This doesn't, you know, that's totally different. But if you're able bodied to get out, and you, especially if you have a car, again, you don't have to get out every day. Gas is expensive, I know that. But make it a point to get out when you can and just kind of meet new people, you know? Because again, the premiere is on here, Monkey World. The day's gonna come very, very soon where there are none. And it breaks my heart that people haven't prepared themselves for that yet. But it's coming, you know, unfortunately. And I don't take any pleasure on that at all. I think it's sad. I think, though, if things had been done honestly and everything like that, it would not have come to this, you know. The beginning of the end of Monkey World was when BB was, you know, when BB disappeared, and when he, you know, there was no explanation when BB went away. And, but instead of being honest with people, his owner just kind of, you know, just left. No explanation, no nothing. Um, you know, and then we have when, you know, Tam went to Uncle Fog's house for an explanation and told everybody it was 2 ways for him, 2 hours away from him. People looked up the location of that studio and Tam's address. It is not 2 hours away. So why say that? It's a lie. People looked it up. It's not a hard thing to do. It is not a hard thing to do. Why say something like that? Because people are going to find out you are not telling them the truth. And again, this is to hype up the storyline. A lot of channels did that too. That was another mistake, another reason at the beginning of the end. Then we have the they're not having they don't have permits. I mean, seriously. I would like to know when these people applied for a permit. I'm thinking that it was just recently when they caught on to the fact that the government, that the authorities are cracking down on illegal monkeys. So I'm thinking that they panicked and said, oh, okay, we need to get on this. We need to get a permit. No, you should have started that process right when you got your little one. And the scenarios also of how people come to get monkeys are kind of almost all the same. There's two different scenarios I've seen so many times for a couple of years, in fact. Either a person is in the forest and happens to stumble upon an abandoned baby monkey, they take it home and is introduced to people via a channel. Or they come to it from somebody in a poor village and they happen to be there either for work or volunteering for the community. Um, Again, these people are not being original in their storylines. So I just, I'm just not sure. And I can't, in my conscience, watch anymore. You know, I really can't. It's sad. And it would be even more heartbreaking to keep watching those channels and the day to come that the channel is no more. Because I guarantee you, people, do not think because you're watching and supporting that channel is safe. No, it is not. I don't, I want to be wrong. But the few remaining channels that people do not have the proper permits for their little ones. So it's inevitable that one day, and I don't take pleasure in this at all. Not even one bit. It's going to be hard on them for the day that they show up thinking that, normal premiere time, because they normally do have a set schedule, and there's no channel or there's no premiere. The next day you go in and it's the same thing. No premiere. I can think of a few people already that are going to have a very horrible time with this. And I don't take any pleasure in it. I do not take any pleasure. And I'm so sorry that y'all have not accepted the fact yet that the channels are on their way out. Again, you don't have to believe me. Look up some channels that use Kudos had over 2 million subscribers on here. And all of a sudden, no more premiere. Why? You know, um, I liked that channel too. I watched it for a while. But yeah, Kiambuna have not had a premiere, and tomorrow will be 3 weeks. 3 weeks, people. No explanation, no nothing. And so it's just sad. So please, please, please prepare yourselves for when those channels go away, and they will. No matter if you watch support thinking that'll do it. I'm sorry, but it won't. I am so sorry. Again, there's a great big world out there, and again, I find stuff to occupy my time through the day. Yesterday, like I said, I went out, I did some grocery shopping, I came back home, put everything up, and then for dinner, I made some carnivore buns to go with some ground turkey I had browned up, and kind of made my own version of Sloppy Joe. And it was really good, but next time I'm going to cut the recipe in half. So, yeah, there's stuff to do out there. And like I said, I have tons to do around here as it is. So, at one point, I was taking a good part of my day to watch Monkey World. And I didn't really mind it in a way because I was chatting with some really cool people. But when things started happening and I started seeing these same patterns on all these different channels, um, I was like, wait a minute, you know, I'm out. I'm out. So, but anyway, y'all have a really wonderful day. I love and appreciate you. And again, please, please, please prepare yourselves. I say that with all sincerity. Please, please, please prepare yourself. I love you.